And we have some breaking news right now from the Supreme Court. This is an 8-1 decision on U.S. v. Texas, which was a Republican challenge to President Biden's immigration enforcement priorities. And I want to bring in NBC's Julia Ainsley, who's outside the Supreme Court. Julia, what do you know about this decision?
Hi, Anna. So we could still be getting more decisions in moments. But right now, a decision that came out is in U.S. versus Texas, where 8 out of the 9 justices said that the states here that challenged the Biden administration's immigration policy lacked standing. They sided with the Biden administration 8-1, saying that the states did not have standing to sue the Biden administration over this policy.
The Biden administration has proposed legislation that would create new ways for immigrants to legally enter the United States. The Supreme Court has handed over a major victory to President Biden. This would allow administration to set priorities to provide the immigration solution for immigrants. In this video, we understand how Supreme Court upholds Biden's immigration policies and plans. If you are interested in any of these topics, stay tuned to the end of this video for your immigration updates.
Visit our Swat&Vee channel with your questions to see how best we can help you out your process. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel.
Now let's continue to watch the video and find out what's new in U.S. immigration. Friday, the Supreme Court upheld a key part of President Biden's plan for targeted immigration enforcement. The court said that the government can focus on arresting and deporting people who are a present threat. In a vote of 8-1, the judges said that Texas and Louisiana did not have the right to sue the federal government to make it arrest migrants more aggressively. Justice Brett M. Kavanaugh, writing for the court, used a conservative idea that judges shouldn't change government policy through cases that are driven by politics. He also said that it had always been thought that the executive branch, not the courts, were in charge of enforcing immigration rules. In United States versus Texas, he said, the states want the federal judiciary to tell the executive branch to change how it makes arrests so that more arrests can be made. But the states and their lawyers haven't been heard in a way that gives them the right to sue, he said. If the court lets this case go forward, he said, federal judges will soon be asked to decide if the government needs to make more arrests to enforce drug laws and other laws. The lawsuit that Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton had brought before a conservative federal judge in Corpus Christi was thrown out by the ruling. U.S. District Judge Drew Tipton, who was appointed by former President Trump, put out a national order saying that the Biden administration's immigration policy was illegal and could not be used. Last July, the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals failed to overturn Tipton's order, and the Supreme Court did the same when it rejected Biden's lawyer's emergency appeal. But after hearing both sides of the case, every justice except the conservative Samuel A. Alito Jr. voted to throw out the lawsuit and let the government carry on as planned. This decision is outrageous, tweeted Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Friday. SCOTUS gives the Biden administration a free pass to stop enforcing immigration laws without being held accountable, he said. Texas will continue to use the National Guard to stop and turn back illegal immigrants who try to enter Texas illegally. Former president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association David Leopold called the decision a victory for common sense over chaos and a blow against Republicans' reliance on the anti-immigrant judicial pipeline. He also said, "We hope today's ruling is a sign that judges should follow the law and not impose their own politics on immigration." The theme of judicial restraint and respect for Congress or the White House came up in the fourth ruling in the past few weeks, which came out on Friday. In an Alabama case earlier this month, Kavanaugh cast the deciding vote as the justices upheld a part of the Voting Rights Act. This upheld Congress's rule that states try to make election districts that are small enough to give black voters a chance to vote for a candidate of their choice. The Supreme Court upheld the Indian Child Welfare Act last week. The goal of this law is to place Native American children in custody, foster care, and adoption cases with relatives or tribe members. In both cases, conservative justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito said they would have repealed the laws in question. Thursday, the justices threw out a case brought by the Navajo Nation to get more water rights. They said that Congress, not the courts, should handle the problem. But this might not continue. The last decisions of this term are expected to be made by the justices next week. Some of the cases are about how colleges use affirmative action, and others are about how Biden wants to get rid of millions of student loans. The administration's lawyers have said that the 6 Republican-led states that are fighting over the student loan program are not directly hurt by it. Like Texas in the immigration case, these states have said that they might have to pay some extra costs to handle loans in this case. But in a footnote to Friday's decision that threw out the Texas lawsuit, Kavanaugh said, "In our system of shared power between the federal government and the states, federal policies often have indirect effects on state revenues or spending." The immigration case that was decided on Friday has nothing to do with the tens of thousands of people who show up at the border or the millions of people who live in the country illegally. Instead, it was about illegal aliens who had committed crimes in the past and whether the government has to look for them to arrest and deport them. Immigration regulation is at the center of a fight between Democratic state attorneys and Republican state attorneys. By a vote of 5-4, the Supreme Court did not let Biden's immigration enforcement guidelines go into effect last year. However, the justices decided to hear both sides of the case. At issue was whether the law requires immigrants with a history of serious crimes to be locked up or whether the government can instead focus on arresting and deporting people who pose a threat to public safety right now. Immigrants often spend years in state jail for crimes like selling drugs. When they get out, federal immigration agents may take them into arrest, but that is not always the case. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro N. Mayorkas said that the federal government had to set priorities for enforcing immigration rules because it had no other choice. He said that the government didn't have enough people or room to find and arrest tens of thousands of non-citizens who had committed crimes in the past. The law is clear that federal officials have a lot of freedom to decide who should be arrested, detained, go through removal proceedings, or have removal orders carried out, he said in September. Mayorkas said that law enforcement should focus on non-citizens who pose a current threat to public safety, not on everyone with a criminal record.
I hope you guys found this video extremely helpful. If you know anybody that could benefit from this information, definitely make sure to share this video with them. We are all about empowering you with knowledge. So the more people that can benefit from this video, the more people we want watching this video. If you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs icon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell for more immigration updates. Bye!